Times of India is the paper that's in my hand right now. This particular newspaper, the top news says, Manipur ethnic gulf widens, big relocation is on, is what the security officials are telling us. 10 killed in fresh violence. All of this, Verghese, even as Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister, is in the state. He's chairing meetings with Chief Minister Biren Singh.
Yes, he's held meetings with Biren Singh, and the papers have covered it. It is the top story in most papers. Well, the Indian Express has in fact put out that issue that you have said. And here they've given a picture of Amit Shah holding a meeting with Biren Singh in Imphal. Well, there is something worrying that has also been reported, like yesterday we were discussing. Arms not looted from armories were handed over is what sources are saying. Now, this is according to the Indian Express, and amid fresh violence, more attempts to loot arms. So, clearly, it is a little bit of a situation that we are seeing there, but Amit Shah seems to have come in. He has in fact said that dialogue is the only way. It is expected that he might visit violence areas in the hills as well as in the valleys. He is going to speak to both the Kuki and Meitei leaders, and they have in fact welcomed.
Do you think it's going to be safe for the Home Minister to be visiting these?
But right now they have to, since they have to sanitize the place. If the Home Minister is not safe, then it's a big question mark on what the security forces are doing on the ground. So they would have sanitized the place, and plus violence would come down because here we have the Home Minister trying to broker peace. So nobody wants to in fact disturb whatever peace dialogue could be initiated. And here in the Indian Express, I'll just take you to some of this thing. Besides security review meeting, Shah will bring the Meiteis and Kukis together for discussion on ways to resolve the situation, said sources. He will persuade the two groups to lay down arms, said a senior Home Ministry official. And another, the part that we need to be worried about is that sources in the security establishment, this according to the Indian Express, are saying that the fact that many were armed with weapons, mostly looted from armories in Imphal, was making it difficult to quell the violence. And in most cases, the arms have not been looted, but rather handed over. People of a specific community in the administration want to help their brethren in the conflict situation, is what an officer who is currently in Manipur has said. Now, this has come in the Indian Express. They've in fact highlighted about the issue regarding the arms and looting of armories. That is something that they have focused on. But the Tribune,
but the Home Minister's blitzkrieg.
Yes, the Tribune has said something that 22 people have been detained ahead of ministers' first visit since the clashes broke out on May 3rd. So, and of course here also both groups will be told to give up arms. I told you, Kabir, before also we were saying, any kind of negotiations can happen only if the guns fall silent. And it is time that the guns are taken away from both the groups so that the cycle of violence does not get, extended. So right now what they're doing is the first step that they're going to do is this, and I think it is the right step because unless the guns are out, the negotiations are going to be tough, Kabir.
Well, absolutely. We've got fresh violence that is being reported. But on the ground, Verghese, how do you think people are going to be looking at the Home Minister's visit per se? Do you think it's the confident and the right step in the right direction?
Well, I'll in fact bring you some of the, as you wanted to know what was the kind of feelings that are there among the Meiteis as well as Kukis regarding the visit of the Home Minister. Well, what we understand right now, and Tribune has also said, that the welcoming messages have come from both Meitei and Kuki communities, which have been in the news after the recent spate of violence. So both of them have in fact welcomed the initiatives by the Home Ministry that is being taken care of. In fact, I'll give you some of the quotes that are there. The Hindu has in fact given a quote that we are speaking, in fact this is from the one of the groups that is in fact going to be in the negotiating table. What they're saying that we are speaking for everyone, including the Kukis. This is a joint group of people. We are for the unity of Manipur, but we want the militants to in fact give up their armed struggle. So this is something that has come to light. There is a unity group also which we are looking at.
The Times of India says that army is visiting villages, talking to both the sides, but hasn't been able to decide upon a meeting ground as of yet. So it's great to see that the army is going to
Actually,
village
the
to
army
village
is
to
doing a
village.
lot of the groundwork of the, the groundwork of the negotiations is being carried out by the army there. And also, there is another interesting factor that has been, put by the Hindu. It says the United People's Front and Kuki national organizations, the Kuki militant organizations that are in suspension of operations pact. No, you have a ceasefire pact with them. They are saying that the visit of the Home Minister has given a sense of security among the Kuki and Zo tribes. So the Kuki-Zo tribes feel secure with the Home Minister coming in to the state, and he's going to be there till June 1st. He had landed yesterday, so the talking is going to be important about it. And what they're going to talk about, of course, first would be to give up the arms, second is to sit, and of course there are some more indications that probably the Home Minister might consider some of the demands for autonomous areas in the thing. They said they will look into it. This is again one of the sources that has in fact given. But one more news that has come out interestingly is that there was a protest yesterday by the Kuki Zomi women who has been seeking president's rule in Manipur. They had protested at Jantar Mantar. So around 500 protesters had gathered, and this the Hindu has in fact given in its city page. It speaks about the protesters who've gathered at Jantar Mantar. I'll just bring you the picture as well with that story over here, where 500 of them have in fact gathered at that place, and they have in fact ensured that this issue is also brought to light regarding why they are looking for it. They are asking for a president's rule, and they said Article 355 is not enough, is what the protesters at Jantar Mantar have been saying about it. So clearly all these things are in fact playing out when it comes to Manipur. We are looking at more voices coming in, but as far as we can say, Kabir, dialogue is the only way forward for this now. There has to be cessation of hostilities. There has to be cessation of the guns being in the hands of the common man in Manipur. Dialogue is the only way now. Violence has run its course. It's enough. There's too much of bloodshed on the ground. Dialogue is the only way. The Kuki leaders and the Meitei leaders have to come together. The center is in fact doing all in its way to ensure that there is peace in Manipur. So they are looking for dialogue process to happen.
Well, and at the same time, we're standing at nearly a month long conflict right now in Manipur. And the majority Meitei and the other Kuki Naga tribes as well, we're talking about more deployment of boots on the ground. The security officials are saying that it's not possible for us to post Jawans at every possible point out there. Armories are being looted, and at the same time, the Home Minister is in Manipur looking forward to potential talks, but those talks can only happen once, hostilities, come to an end.
So there's no other choice. Hostilities have to end. I mean, you
And
can't,
for that, they'll have to give up their arms.
Yes, they have
But
to
the
give up
amount of
their
arms that people have
see, that is the
in the valley and the hill.
See,
don't you think that's going to be such a huge challenge
it's
for
going
the
to
army?
be a huge challenge for the security forces to, in fact, ensure that the arms are not in circulation. It's going to be a huge challenge, and it's going to be a huge challenge because many of them will be reluctant to give up their arms because they will be seeing it as a sense of security. But the arms have to go first. It might be even a common hunting rifle that is there in the possession, but those guns have to go. Because anyone,
even government officials are fleeing, looking for safety. This being reported by the Times of India. It's a picture. It says forces rescuing people from violence-hit areas, and this is, I'm sure, this is not just the one spot. So even if the Home Minister sets out to take a stock of these violence-hit areas, there's going to be too many to take stock of.
Well, it is, but somewhere someone has to in fact start the work. So on the ground, you have the army starting the work. They are speaking to people. So the Home Minister is also there. And this division that has happened, especially between the hills and the valleys, before it solidifies into what we call as the emotional kind of a situation, there needs to be some kind of breach in that hatred that we are seeing. between the tribes and the non-tribes. And for that, confidence building measures should be initiated. But for all this to happen, they should come on a common platform. And of course, the Home Minister will have a very tough task that is going to be, in fact, assigned in front of him. He will have to ensure that the Kukis feel secure. He has to ensure that the Meiteis feel secure. Then he has to wade through the issues of identity. Those who are in the hills, their identity was those who are in Imphal. He has to wade through all these identity politics. Then he has to ensure that the Meiteis don't feel that they are getting the raw end of the stick. The territorial integrity of Manipur has to be kept in mind. At the same time, you have the demands for autonomy that is there. What can be done from within the constitution should be thought of.